Thanks for joining us on this special edition of ABC24 News. I'm Kevin McNamara. We've got a lot to get into this evening, so first off, right now, Memphis police are looking for the suspect in an early morning shooting in the 100 block of Shelby Drive. MPD says around 1 a.m. they were called to a shooting near Thomas Barber Shop. That's where they found a man shot and rushed him to Regional 1 Hospital, where he later died. If you have information in this shooting, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 901-528-CASH. And it's shootings like this one that has crime on everyone's radar more and more these days. And you often hear the push to call Crime Stoppers like we just did if you know anything that could lead to an arrest or help solve a crime. Memphis Crime Stoppers started in 1982, and according to the latest data shared by officials, last year there was about a 30% uptick in calls. However, some in Memphis are worried about the widening gap between the community and the public amid an increase in violent crime. Arturo Colunga, in particular, who says his friend was murdered almost 3 weeks ago near an auto zone in Raleigh. And though there were witnesses, no one is coming forward. He says you can have resources like Crime Stoppers in place, but that still doesn't fix the trust between police and community.
Unfortunately, the police department and the government officials have not been able to do anything to help bring the crime down. So because of that, people don't feel safe. So they don't feel safe to be able to say something because they're going to think they're going to be next.
RJ Shakur will have more on this tonight on ABC24 News at 10. And this evening, Memphis police are asking you to be on the lookout for a missing 9-year-old boy. MPD says Joshua Mosley went missing from the 2200 block of Carnes Avenue. That's between Lamar Avenue and Airways Boulevard. They say Mosley is about 3 feet and 8 inches tall, has black hair in braids, brown eyes, and weighs somewhere between 65 to 75 pounds. He was last seen wearing a black shirt, gray shorts, green checkered socks with white and black shoes. MPD asks anyone with information on Mosley's whereabouts to call 901-545-2677. Heading across Arkansas, the lanes to the I-40 exit in West Memphis back open after a large fire erupted at a nearby warehouse today. The fire department says the warehouse belongs to the cleaning product manufacturer Awesome Products. We're told it was a packaging facility, so there was lots of plastic burning in the building, which is what caused the thick smoke. Now, after hours battling the flames, firefighters were able to finally contain the fire. However, smoke is still a concern in the area.
One of the things we did, we got on the scene, we had our safety officer check with the people across the street that owns the building, and they said that nobody was in the building, no firefighters got hurt.
West Memphis Fire added that there is no surrounding hazardous threat to the community in terms of the smoke or air quality. As we continue to follow this fire and the effects it may have on West Memphis, be sure to download our ABC24 News app. It is free in your app store. And we turn now to our first look at the forecast with meteorologist Hayden Nix. Hayden, we're still seeing those high temperatures as we enter October.
Yeah, we definitely are, and I know I might be one of many people who would rather have those cooler temperatures in near normal values, which would be in the lower 80s, but I have got some good news, and that's where we're starting with weather here. We've got our temperature outlook, October the 6th through the 10th, just above me. That's the range we're looking at, and yes, I know that's still several days out ahead of what we typically begin our discussion with, but I'm showing this because we have got a trend where temperatures are no longer going to be above normal. The days of above normal temperatures are numbered, so that's good there. We're looking at forecasting highs next weekend in the 60s and 70s, overnight lows in the 50s. But as I mentioned, we've got to get through a few more days of warm temperatures, and tomorrow's going to be just like that, what we observed today. Starting out in the 60s like we have been, but we're segueing back into the upper 80s and lower 90s. Memphis earlier today, making it to 92 degrees for a high temperature. So yes, we are going to see those above normal temperatures still cruising around 10 degrees above for the next few days here. And a lot of it has to do with the big ridge of high pressure that's situated over the eastern U.S. behind me here. But as we watch it, it is going to begin to break down and shift eastward. That is going to open up the atmosphere back west to give us a better picture of the cooler fall-like weather that's expected to arrive. This has been showing in our weather model data for the last several days and has been fairly consistent. So Tuesday, And going into Wednesday will be the final day of those above normal temperatures. Once we go into Thursday, we have this frontal boundary nearing us, and there will be some moisture to work with here where some shower activity will be possible through Thursday itself. The front won't finally clear until we make it into Friday. Then behind it, that beautiful fall-like weather will be on the way, and I'm looking forward to it. As far as rainfall with this system here, we're not looking at a lot, but we definitely need it. Less than 1/2 of an inch, but most locations likely reporting less than 1/4 of an inch of rainfall, and boy, do we need it. Drought monitor, this is updated every Thursday. We're still showing moderate to severe drought status, especially over our southern counties in Mississippi and eastern Arkansas, and abnormally dry conditions starting to drift northward into areas of western Tennessee. Back to the top of the forecast tonight. As I mentioned, temperatures are going to be pictured in the upper 60s. We might have some low 60s out there. And then tomorrow, readings back in the low 90s area-wide from eastern Arkansas into northern Mississippi and even into western Tennessee. Then our 7-day forecast shows really nice weather coming. Look at those 70s returning to the forecast by Thursday. Kevin?
Thanks, Hayden. Heading over to Mississippi now, an addiction treatment center raising awareness about addiction by hosting their Walk for Recovery event. Bertava Health hosted the event at the DeSoto County Veterans Park this morning. Experts spoke about addiction treatment, and attendees were also able to walk in celebration of recovery. County Executive Stacy Dodd says that they want to see more unity when it comes to those who are in recovery and communities.
Our community is behind them, and we do believe in them. And it is important for them to know that they have a community that believes in them, because many people in active addiction, they think the community is against them, and they think we're the enemy. And we're going to break that down.
Participants were also able to share personal stories as well and connect with others who have been affected by addiction. And elsewhere, St. Jude's Children's Hospital hosted their annual walk/run this morning in the newly renovated Tom Lee Park as Childhood Cancer Awareness Month comes to a close. Participants of all ages and backgrounds came together to not just get some exercise, but also fundraise and spread awareness for St. Jude. 10 teams of students, staff, and school leaders from across the Memphis-Shelby County School District were present to celebrate a reinvigorated collaboration between schools and this event. Well, we're just days away from the city of Memphis's election night. So to celebrate the last weekend of early voting, Greater Lewis Street Missionary Baptist Church hosted a party at the polls, an opportunity for community members to come together, vote, and celebrate what's next for the city. There was free food, live entertainment, and giveaways. The church says it's important for residents to make their voice heard and get excited about civic engagement.
All of our elections are important, but our municipal elections, our local elections are even more important, because the people that we're voting for today have much more of an impact on your everyday life than the president or Congress. Those are important too, don't get me wrong, but the mayor and the city council have a direct everyday impact on your life.
Election night is this Thursday, October 5th. Right now, lawmakers in Washington have passed a 45-day stopgap spending bill to avert a government shutdown. This brings Washington one step closer to averting a government shutdown. The vote 335 to 91 on a deal that would keep the government funded for another month and a half, postponing the risk of a shutdown until mid-November. The bill now heads to the Senate. Just one House Democrat voted against the measure, while 90 Republicans opposed Speaker McCarthy's bipartisan solution. 7 lawmakers missed the vote. And without this deal, the government would have essentially shut down at midnight on Sunday. If the shutdown were to happen, 20,000 Border Patrol officers, nearly 58,000 TSA officers, and 13,000 air traffic controllers would be forced to work without pay. And just a reminder here, student loan payments start again tomorrow, October 1st. The government paused payments during the pandemic, but good news, there is some relief. The SAVE plan is available to most people with federal student loans. It's designed to provide help for borrowers struggling to pay off debt. If you or someone you know has student loans, there is still time to sign up for the SAVE plan. You can apply online. And remember, if you have loans, interest started accruing this month. Well, thanks for joining us on this special edition of ABC24 News. I'm Kevin McNamara. We'll see you here at 10.